I'm a registered dietitian. Oh,
There you go.
it's your teacher. The teacher shush there. Can everyone hear me? Okay? Yeah, kind of. I can try and talk a little louder. Is that better? Okay. My name is Tara Salee. I am a registered dietitian with Hy-Vee. My home store is actually the Hy-Vee, really close to you guys, over off of 291 and Rice Road. So you can find me there. I also cover the other store, though, here in Lee Summit as well as Belton. And I'm happy to be with you guys today for National Nutrition Month. We're going to be talking a little bit about the components of a healthy meal. And I'm also going to make two different recipes for you. I think the recipes were at the table as you walked in, so hopefully you picked those up. If you didn't, I also have them up here. I know that we've all seen this, and we were just talking about how kids, grandkids maybe have brought this home, and we've seen this plate before, but it's such a nice reminder, and I think it also presents a really good opportunity for us because most Americans are not getting enough of this section of our plate. The goal here is 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables per day, but since we're all adults, really we want to cap that fruit at about 1.5 cups. And the rest of that we want to be vegetables, specifically non-starchy vegetables. So I'm not talking corn, peas, and potatoes right now. I know. We want the lettuce, cauliflower, broccoli, celery, carrots, bell peppers. We want those veggies. The reason for that is because these foods are loaded in nutrients. They're also not calorically dense, and they have a lot of fiber. So the goal for fiber is 25 to 32 grams per day. Most Americans are getting about 10 grams per day. So there is a huge gap there. And the reason why fiber is important is, yes, it can prevent high cholesterol and diabetes. It helps regulate blood sugar. But this is also your filler food. This is what fills you up at a meal. If you're not eating this, chances are you're going to be hungry. You're not going to be full at the end of your meal, and you'll probably reach to other parts of your plate to have more of the foods that are higher in calories and lower in nutrients. So really, really aim, think about your plate, even your lunch, your dinner yesterday. Did you have vegetables on your plate? If not, how could we get those in? Secondly, our second power nutrient here is our protein. This is another area that a lot of my patients are kind of lacking, especially earlier in the day. By the time we roll around to dinner, most people are doing really good with protein, but breakfast and lunch is where they fall off. Protein is our nutrient that takes longer than any other nutrient to digest. It is our satiety nutrient. So if you're one of those people that has breakfast and maybe your stomach is growling 2 hours later, and you're like, gosh, I'm already hungry again, your first thought should be, what protein did I have with my breakfast? We want to try to get 15 to 30 grams. Much more than 30, we're not getting any benefit from it. We're just kind of filtering it. It's going through us. It's being stored as fat. But 30 grams is really the mark here. Most people aren't getting that for breakfast. Most people aren't even getting that for lunch. So that would be an area to look at as well. A lot of my patients are also, they always tell me, it takes so much planning. Yeah?
I'm sorry. Is that 30 grams just for breakfast or 30 grams for the whole day?
Oh, at every meal.
Every meal, you get 30 grams of protein in every meal.
That's the goal, 15 to 30. So breakfast, you want to try to get 15 to 30. Lunch, 15 to 30. Dinner, 15 to 30. I'll tell you, I wish I would have brought this. I didn't. There is a product. It's called collagen peptides. For those of you, some of you are nodding, so I feel like you've seen this before. It's fantastic. It's a great protein source. If you feel like you're lacking at breakfast, I put this in my coffee, and it just helps boost it up. So even if you're having like egg on toast or something, it has no flavor. You could add this to your coffee. It'd be an extra boost of protein. Okay, so both of our recipes today are very simple, but they incorporate both of these nutrients. They're loaded with veggies. They also have a great source of protein. And I don't know who it was, but called me a chef, and I'm not a chef at all. But you'll see that most of the things I'm making right here are assembly foods. So these are things that are really easy to put together, and it does not take a lot of planning or prep work. The first one we're going to do is a Thai quinoa salad. So for this recipe, kind of our star ingredient is quinoa. This is a grain. It is actually the only grain that is a complete protein. So every other grain has to be paired up with a bean or legume to get all of those amino. Also get these like in a bag similar to rice. So if you like it, that would be the way to do it. It's going to be more economical to do it that way. This is just very convenient. So we're going to do 2 cups of that into our bowl. Next, we will add our broccoli slop. You could use cabbage in place of this. I really like using something with a little more texture so that if you're going to meal prep this or save leftovers for lunch the next day, that it won't get soggy. It'll really stay good for a couple days. You're going to need 2 cups of this, and this is where all those veggies are starting to come in. So 1, 2. All right, we're going to do some bell peppers. I grabbed the shortcuts. If you only like yellow peppers or only like red peppers, just get the ones you like. We'll do 1 cup of these. 1 cup of onion. Now, I will sometimes, when I make this at home, add these to my ground turkey or ground chicken and saute them, because you can have this salad hot or cold. Next up, we have our edamame. So this is shelled edamame. This is, if you are wanting to follow a plant-based diet, this is going to be a plant-based form of protein. This is basically soybeans. So you can get this in the pod or you can get it shelled. I'm going to do 1 cup of that. And I steam this in the microwave as well. All right, and now we're going to mix up our dressing. So for the dressing, we're going to start with some peanut butter. You want to get a natural peanut butter. Now, a lot of the peanut butter on the shelf says natural on it. So to figure out if it's really a good peanut butter, you want to flip it over and look at the ingredient list, and it should have peanuts and maybe some salt, but that's it. We don't want partially hydrogenated oils. We don't want sugar or high fructose corn syrup or anything else in there. When you buy this, though, there is going to be some oil separation at the very top. And I've had a few people tell me they will pour that off or try to get rid of it. You don't need to do that. You want to mix it really good. This is monounsaturated fat that's really good for your heart. So you just want to stir that in. After you stir it the first time, you want to put the lid on real tight and store it upside down in your pantry so then you wouldn't have to re-stir it. All right, so we're going to use a 1/4 cup of this. Next, we're going to add some garlic. So I got just a little jar of the organic garlic that's already been chopped. If you want to use a garlic powder, you could do that. Or if you wanted to use like an actual clove of garlic, you could do that too. How much of this do we need? We need 2 teaspoons. Okay, same thing goes for our ginger here. So if you wanted to get this ginger, this is in the produce department. If you're not making this every week, you may not go through this whole container of ginger. So if you wanted to use like a powdered ginger, you could do that too. I wouldn't just omit it though, because it does add a lot of flavor. We're gonna do some honey. This is our only sweetener in this dish. So 1 teaspoon of that. And then we'll need an oil. So it calls for a toasted sesame oil. You could also do avocado oil and olive oil, grapeseed oil. All of these are heart-healthy oils. So we'll do a teaspoon of that. And then last but not least, we're also going to add some light soy sauce. Soy sauce is very high in sodium. So if you look at like the tip of your pinky finger, this is about a teaspoon. That's about 2,300 milligrams of sodium. This is your whole day's worth if you don't have heart disease or high blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure, it's about half of that. And most of this, if you're thinking, oh, I don't use the salt shaker, it's not coming from the salt shaker. It's already in the food we're eating. Things that are already high in sodium, like soy sauce. So trying to get a light soy sauce or reduce sodium. There's also a product called coconut aminos. This is a gluten-free option. Tastes just like soy sauce, but it's in our health market. So that's another option that's going to be a little bit lower in sodium. All right. And that's it. So you're going to give this a good stir. And this is essentially your dressing. So sometimes I will add just a little bit of water to this to thin it out a little bit. But that's kind of your call on how much you're wanting it to kind of spread out. Oh, and our turkey. So this is 1 pound of ground turkey. I went ahead, this is already cooked, and we're going to add that as well. You could do this meatless with just the edamame and the quinoa if you wanted to. All right, and then on goes the dressing. And you're going to give it a good mix. So this is something that you could meal prep at this point if you were making lunches for the week. Or you could just have it for dinner. It's good hot or cold. I think I prefer it warm, but my husband actually likes it better cold, so it just kind of depends. All right, I think what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one, and then you guys can try both of these at the end when we finish up. Garnish-wise, over the top, you could put some chopped peanuts. You could put some green onions, just for a little bit extra flavor. I actually had one of my patients make this, and I have not tried it yet, but she said she put it in lettuce wraps and almost made like this was like the stuffing to a lettuce wrap and said it was delicious. So that would be another suggestion, but you can see how easy that was. So again, very minimal preparation for something that is a healthy, quick meal loaded with veggies and also having that good protein source that we're looking for.
I've also added cranberries. Like cranberries, and it gives just the right amount of sweetness to it.
Okay, yeah. I wouldn't have thought of that, but that is a good idea. Yeah, for a little extra punch of, yeah, something sweet.
If you have a peanut allergy, what nut butter would you recommend in place of?
I would maybe do like tahini or sunflower seed butter would work. Either of those, I think would be just fine. But yeah, I think one of those would probably be best. I wouldn't do like a wow butter or something that's like overly sweet though. Yeah, any other questions on this one before we move on to the other?
Have you made it with kale?
No.
I love shredded kale, and it
Yeah.
seems like it holds its.
It does hold its texture, and that
Yeah.
would probably also work well. So yeah, any green you like, add it in there. Kale, if you haven't tried it, is just a little bit more bitter. Most of the bitter flavor comes actually from like the stimming that goes through it. So if you give it a rough chop, it kind of cuts down on that a little bit. But yeah, use what you like. And if you're making it on the spot and going to eat it that night, then you could certainly use even a lighter leaf like a butter lettuce or something like that if you want to. I also have people ask, if I only like iceberg lettuce, is that even worth eating? And the answer is yes. Like, if you like a certain vegetable and that's the one you want to put in there, then do it. Eating that vegetable is certainly better than not eating the vegetable at all. You don't have to use the broccoli slaw. You don't have to eat spinach or kale. You can pick the lettuce or the leaf you like. So, okay. Switching gears. So this one we actually are going to make meatless. This next one is a cauliflower chipotle bowl. And we are going to be using riced cauliflower for this one. Has anyone tried this before? Yeah? Okay. A few of you? So I love this product so much. Even if you're thinking, oh, I prefer rice, I would want to do that. This is such a nice option when it comes to portion size. So 1 serving of rice, I don't even think I have the right measuring cup. This is a half cup measure. 1 serving of rice is actually 1/3 of a cup cooked, less than this. So like envision like Chipotle or going to Chinese or something and the amount of rice that's on your plate. It's usually double or triple the actual serving. And it's very depressing if you just get your little tiny serving of rice and think, well, here's my portion. But this really expands that. So even if you're thinking, I still want to have my 1/3 cup of cooked rice, but I can also have a whole cup of this, mix it together, and then we have a much larger portion. We've also worked our veggie in. When I cook this at home, I just did it in the microwave here. I steamed it for the full time in the microwave. When I make it at home, I steam it for half the time it suggests, and then I finish it in a pan. It wicks off more of the moisture, and it has more of a consistency that's very close to rice. I made it for my kids the first time, and they turned their nose up. They were being very difficult about it. And then the next time when I made it in my skillet and mixed it with a little rice, nobody knew the difference. I didn't tell them until things were cleaned up, we had moved on. I was like, by the way, you guys just ate cauliflower. Okay, so we have that going into our bowl. Next, we're just going to open a can of these fire roasted tomatoes. If it is summer, you have a garden, you want to use fresh, obviously you could do that. This is just very convenient. I like this roasted, fire roasted, because it gives an extra punch of flavor. So that's going to go in. If you're making this meatless, your black beans are going to be your protein source. So I have drained these already. Typically I would rinse them as well, but I did not do that today. And we're gonna mix our taco seasoning into the beans. If you're going to make this with some lean ground beef or turkey or something, you can put it in there. This is a Mrs. Dash taco seasoning. All the Mrs. Dash products have no salt. So again, kind of going back to thinking about your pinky and trying to limit sodium, this is an easy way to do that because it still has a lot of flavor. They also make like a fajita packet seasoning, which is also nice. We're gonna use about half of the packet. You're just gonna mix the seasoning right into that. And once that is combined, it can go into the cauliflower rice bowl. All right, so then next up, again, whatever lettuce of your choice, we're gonna use some cabbage. Now, again, I will normally make this in a much larger bowl, but for the sake of space, we're just gonna use that much today. You're gonna mix this and you're ready to go. When I meal prep this, I just put my lettuce on top and I do not mix it up. So then when you get your lunch out, it's still nice and fresh. From here, this is where you can put the toppings of your choice. So if you have some sliced avocado or some cheese you want to sprinkle on top, salsa, you could do that. So we will add some cheese today. I also think lime or cilantro adds a lot of flavor to this. We'll do a little bit of lime in it. And then we don't want to add any other carbohydrate actually to our bowl, but you can take chips or use a wrap when you're ready to eat it. So these chips are called Bonitos. These are just fantastic because they are made from a northern bean instead of just corn, so you have more fiber and more protein, but they still taste really good. These are I don't know why I grabbed the lime, but they also have just a regular flavored one. And you're gonna find these in the health market. These are really tasty, so something you might wanna make a healthy swap up for, you could give those a try. You could also do this like a make once, eat twice type of meal. Like night one, maybe it's just a taco salad style. Night two, maybe you put it in a wrap, so you have 2 different meals created from one. I really like these wraps. These are the Mission Carb Balance. You can see they're really like soft and bendy. They don't break in half when you fold them, but you're also getting a great So whenever you're looking at that food label, you really want to try to get 5 or more grams of fiber and 5 or less grams of sugar when it's a carbohydrate food. So when it's a tortilla or a chip or a cracker, it's called the 5 by 5 rule. So more than 5 grams of fiber ideally and less than 5 grams of sugar, which that fits the bill for that. All right. And then there's some salsa here as well. Any questions about this one?
Are those chips, are they gluten-free?
Yes, they are actually. And so is that salsa that I also brought. All right, well, if you guys don't have any questions, one other thing I'll add real quick before we all get up. So, a lot of people always ask me, what is it that you do at Hy-Vee? Do you just go around and do stuff like this all the time? And I don't. Like, this is kind of outside of what I would typically do, but I really like doing these types of presentations. Normally what I do is just see patients. So we bill insurance now at Hy-Vee. If you do have concerns or questions about your own health, whether it's heart disease or diabetes or kidney disease or whatever it may be, all you would need to do is reach out to us at Hy-Vee. You could scan the QR code to do that. We'd initiate a referral over from your doctor and go from there and get your appointment set up. So, all right. Well, if you guys have any questions, you can let me know. Otherwise, certainly come on up and give this stuff a try and see what you think.